I work for a company that helps veterans get service connected. I can't get my own back service connected.
TMI, man.
And I
TMI.
paid $6,000 at another company for the same package I now sell for $847.
Well, thank you for making some time
So
today.
before you spend a dime on a Nexus letter anywhere, watch this.
Kind of a Q&A, right? So what we want to do is make sure all of your questions are answered. There's a couple ways we can get that done. One is, you can start off with your questions off the rip. If you've got questions for me, we can get started with those. Or if you prefer, I can kind of lay it all out for you. Tell you what's what, give you an overview, go from there. Okay, perfect. Sounds good. So, you should know a couple of things first before I tell you how the process goes. Out the gate, you should know, we're just a medical evidence company. So what I mean when I say that, Luke, is, we'll write you the medical evidence package you need to win the claim. We build that around a Nexus letter, which is the key piece that most veterans are missing. So we'll do that, but that's all we'll do, right? So I'm not a VSO. We're not affiliated with the VA in any way. Matter of fact, the VA calls us or refers to us as a third party. So what you're doing, if you're working with us, you're going outside the VA system to get your own private doctor's medical opinion to help you win the claim, right? But we can't submit the claim for you. So you'll have to do that. Okay. So that's kind of who we are. What we do is we write you that medical evidence. We do it via telehealth. So everything's pretty convenient. It's all, emails, online, phone call, that sort of thing. All right. So that's kind of who we are and what we do. How we do it is this. So I'm about to send you another email. Well, I'll get it to you after this call. But basically, this email has a link to our website. So what you would do if you wanted to go forward with us is click on that link and put the medical evidence that you want us to write for you in your cart and then check out. So it's a web-based credit card transaction. So it's online shopping, right? It's just like buying something on Amazon. Okay. Once you complete the checkout process, you're able to schedule a telehealth visit with one of my doctors. It'll be a phone call, so you can do it from wherever, as long as you can talk in private, right? Then once you have that consultation done, my doctor writes you the evidence package. So what you're getting there, Luke, is a fully developed claim package. That's what the VA calls it, or an IMO, independent medical opinion. So you're getting both. They call it two different things for reasons. But what we do there is the things you need to win the claim is a diagnosis and a nexus. Okay, so a diagnosis is not a nexus. They're two completely separate things. Most veterans are missing the nexus portion. So we'll provide that. And all a nexus is, just so you know, it's a connection between two things. Right. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So you understand perfectly. And then they kind of put you through the ringer trying to get there. Yep. And discouraged. Right. Yeah. Same thing, man. So I ETS'd out of the Air Force in '89. I was never encouraged to go to sick call. So my ankle and my back are both just jacked up, right? I can't get my back service connected. I can't get my ankle service connected because I didn't go to sick call. So that's the culture of the military is don't go to sick call, right? Just tough it out, rub some dirt on it, soldier on. Yeah, absolutely. So the name of the game is Nexus. So there's 3 ways to get a Nexus. So I can get to the Nexus portion of it, and it may help explain why you had that 3-year fight. But I do want to address, there's other services in this space and what they do and what we do different. Okay, so I do want to address your original concern there, but I want to talk about Nexus first to kind of get to your 3-year battle, and then I'll talk about what makes us a little different and if you should go forward with us or not. Okay, so the 3 ways to get a Nexus. 1, you tried direct. So that's the first way. That's the way most veterans go out the gate, is a direct connection. The way you establish a direct connection at the VBA, remember, we're dealing with the VBA here, okay? Very specifically, Veterans Benefits Administration. What they want to see is documented occurrence in your STRs, service treatment records, something in your service treatment records, and a current diagnosis. So I'll use my back, for example. I injured my back while in the Air Force. I just toughed it out. Took some ibuprofen, just kept going. I didn't go get seen or treated. Years later, and now I've got a bulging disc. I've got ruptured disc. I've had multiple epidurals, this whole thing. I can never get that service connected on a direct connection because I didn't go get seen and treated while on active duty. So I'm never going to win that on a direct connect basis. So that's direct connection, service treatment records and current diagnosis. The VBA will pick up on the thread between those two and award the claim. If you don't have one of those legs, you're not going to win it. You got nothing to stand on. So then the second way is what we do. We provide Nexus. So it's a legal document written by a medical professional that says this condition was caused by service in some way, shape, form, or another. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it because I think you already understand it. So that's what we do. Then the third way is the PACT Act stuff. So PACT Act allows for liberalization of Nexus. So if you served at a time and a place that's on this list and you have one of these diseases that's on this list and you still have a diagnosis, you still need to go get that fourth qualification. If you satisfy all four of those qualifications, you file the claim, you win it. The VA, it's an act of Congress that allows the VA to presume that you've got this condition because of where you served and when you served. Right? So it's mostly things like respiratory, some digestive, some cancers. Those are the predominant diseases or conditions that are on the PACT Act list. So that's the three ways you get a Nexus. So for your ankle, your shoulder, plantar fasciitis, all that stuff, if you didn't go to sick call and you don't have a current diagnosis of it, one or the other or both, or you need both, you're never going to win that claim at the VA on a direct connect basis. I'm sorry you broke up a little bit there. So you're saying you have witness statements? Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Right. While on active duty? Oh. Okay. Yes, it can. Absolutely. So a trauma can cause a degenerative condition for sure. No doubt. We win it all the time at the VA. But if you don't have it documented in your service treatment records, you're forced to go the secondary route because you can't get it directed. Okay. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. Yeah. So let's get to that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. They're still in business. They're just, yeah, I get it. I get your point. Yeah. So, you're right. So I'm going to use, like, say your headaches claim as an example. So this is the path that I went. I went tinnitus, then headaches, then mental health. Right. So that's the path that you could go. And what I did was tinnitus, I had zero medical evidence. Migraines, I bought the package that connects my headaches to my tinnitus on a secondary basis. I bought that package. I bought it at a different company, but it's the same package that so it cost me $6,000. Here it's costing you $850. Right. So I am aware of the other services in this industry and how their predatory pricing kind of works. So I am aware of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, lifetime. Holy cow. Jesus. I've never heard of that one. Yeah. 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 That's incredible. Yeah. So the company that I ended up going to work for was one of those that got half of your increase for a year. So that's why it cost me $6,000. But yeah, I couldn't really stand that pricing model. So it's much better here. So I'm aware of kind of your concerns there. So let's get to it. So on the headaches claim, you saw the price. It's $847, right? What we will do is we would screen you first. So if you go through our intake form and you throw a red flag, we'll tell you, hey, Luke, sorry, we don't feel like we can write you a winning package for this headache claim. Please don't go forward. Don't pay. All right. So that's first step. So that way it helps ensure that we're only writing legitimate claims. One, we charge up front. Two, we screen you. All right. So we're only working on legitimate claims. Then, once we write the evidence, there is no money back guarantee. You're right. I mean, that's just plain facts. There's too many variables outside of our control to offer any kind of money back guarantee. And I would say I would be careful here, but in my opinion, any company that's offering a money back guarantee is probably, throwing shade, pulling the wool, right? So I just don't feel like logically, I don't feel like in this industry, you can guarantee anything. The VBA is going to do whatever the VBA wants to do. Now, that being said, we screen you. Yeah, absolutely. So that we screen you, we look at the CFR. We look at your symptoms. So the CFR is the Code of Federal Regulations. That's the rule book at the VBA. So if we go forward and we write you the medical evidence, there's no money back guarantee. We give you the evidence. You submit the claim. If it's denied, 8 or 9 times out of 10, it's because the VA made a mistake. So if they've made a mistake, you've gone through our screening process. We feel we feel ethically in the right writing you a credible medical evidence package and they deny the claim, we want to know why, right? So I want to see your decision letter. So we don't go away, right? So there's no money back guarantee, but we still stand behind the product. And here's what that looks like. I want to see your decision letter and see the basis for why they denied the claim. So I'll analyze it, pick it apart, show you your options. So I'm not a VSO, as I said at the top, so I can't file the rebuttal for you. I can't do any of this stuff. I can't tell you what you should do, but I can lay out what you could do. There's a fine line there. So what I typically do is, there's usually 2 options, sometimes 3, but usually 2. So I lay out both options. Here's what this is called. Here's what it looks like. Here's the steps you need to take. Here's the likely outcome. Same thing for option 2. Here's here's what it's called. Here's what that looks like. Here's what you need to do. Here's the likely outcome. If there's a third option, I go through it again. All right. So then at the end of that call, after I've received your decision letter, reviewed it, and we get back on another call, or it's handled via email if you prefer. But either way, I lay out all the options to you, let you make a decision on what to do. Now, that's if the VA made a mistake. If we make a mistake, we rewrite the evidence for free. That's only happened once since I've been here. So it really, 2019. Can't give you a number. Yeah. So I get the question, can't give you a number. We're one of those firms that don't have contracts. So it is a simple transaction of a service for a fee, as you alluded to earlier. So since it is a service for a fee, a lot of these vets win and never tell us. Right. So if there's no, you're good, man. Just lay it out. Yeah, you're good. Yeah. Right. So we don't know that. Yeah. So we know our win rate's over 80 and less than 100. So we know it's high. So that's a result of the 2 screenings that I talk about, right? We charge up front, we screen you before we write the evidence. So we know we're only working on legitimate claims. The VA has a BS detector too, right? They can tell if it's not a legitimate claim. So since we feel like we're only working on legitimate claims, we have a very high win rate. But I can't give you an exact number of the percentage. Now, a lot of vets are stuck at 10 or 60, and they want to work with us to go from 10 to 60 or 60 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100. So there's a round 1, round 2 kind of methodology here at work. So we know we have a lot of return clients. We know we do get some vets that come back and say, hey, the claim was denied. So let's look at that. Let's chop it up. We get a lot of vets that come back and say, hey, thanks. I won. It only took, 6 weeks. I've been battling with them for 4 years or something like that. So we get a lot of those reports. But as far as the actual accurate number, it's somewhere between 80 and 100. So both, actually, because the headache screener, we will screen you ahead of when you pay. So if you wanted to go forward with the headaches claim today, I would send you another email in addition to the one I've already sent you. So the one I sent you is the link to our website, so you can get started. Creating your account, creating your dashboard, uploading records, that sort of thing. For the headaches, though, I would send you a second email that basically screens you outside of the payment process. So we would want you to finish that screener before you pay. On the, So on headaches, we will screen you outside of that process. For the mental health, it's in line. So there's 2. So it is both. One is before you pay, one is after. So for the headaches, it's before you pay. For the mental health, it's after. But same rule still applies there. We're just issuing a refund if it's not a good fit, basically, for the mental health. Correct. So you're only allowed to schedule with our mental health professionals after you pay, because we have very few of those. The demand is high, so we require a payment first before we even screen you, because we're scheduling those guys out like 3-4 weeks in advance. It's just it's like herding kittens on that. It's a nightmare to get. I just did it myself recently, and I had to wait like 3 weeks to get seen, and I work for the company, so it's, yeah. Me too, for sure. VSO. Okay. So you're in the supplemental claim lane. So you're filing for the same claim again. It's just now it's a different secondary, and you'll have the medical evidence to support it. So you'll write a lay statement basically saying, I'm appealing the original ruling on headaches secondary to sinusitis. Now I have the medical evidence to back up my claim. Here's what I'm asking for. So you'll write like a 2-paragraph lay statement that basically says, y'all didn't like the secondary to sinusitis, so now here's secondary to tinnitus. And oh, by the way, I've got medical evidence to back it up this time. So supplemental claim means it's the same claim you've already filed. You're supplementing it with new evidence. So you need new evidence to appeal it. That's what we're doing. Only for your back pay. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So what they do, they make it sound like it's final, like you can't file an appeal after a year. But what they're telling you there is actually, you've got a year to file an appeal to keep your back pay active. If you let that year lapse, you can still file a claim to the day you die, but you forego the back pay. You keep that claim dies basically as far as back pay goes. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, the process is designed to make you quit. 100%. None. Yeah, it's better now. But back in '89, I got to hear sign for your shit and get out. That's kind of how I got treated. That's great. Yeah, that's nothing compared to what they're getting nowadays. Yeah. I know vets that are getting benefits before discharge. Like they're getting. That is not true. Yeah, they've really screwed you over there. Yeah, sorry to hear that. So, I mean, that would explain why you're on your tenterhooks as far as figuring out, who's legit and who's not. I mean, that would explain that. There's a lot of predatory nature in this industry because there is so much confusion around the VA process. So that's why hopefully you can tell from this interaction, I just want to give you the information. You make your own decision, right? I'll send you everything. I'll send you all the links. You'll have all the pricing. Everything's transparent. If you want to go with us, let's roll. All right. If you don't, understood, right? We're not a good fit for everybody. Okay. I'll send you. So let's talk about the $1,700 then, because the mental health. The mental health is kind of the wild card in this. You didn't deploy, so you likely wouldn't get a valid stressor, so you wouldn't get diagnosed with PTSD. Oh, you didn't deploy. Okay, I see. Yeah, so so we're looking for the VA designation of where you deployed during combat. So it's not a combat situation. It's active, in region while combat is in theater. Okay. So then, yes. So then you could potentially get a valid PTSD stressor. So that's not for me to decide. That's for the psychologist. So now that strengthens your mental health claim because you could go direct with that. What I was thinking of was kind of a secondary claim. So so mental health secondary to tinnitus is kind of weak. It can be one. Tinnitus causes anxiety. It can be one. But you improve your odds tremendously if you get headaches first, then go after mental health. So if you wanted to go forward today, I would say consider your service records, consider what you saw and what you did. If you think you have a valid stressor, then let's go forward with mental health too and go after direct connection. If you're unsure of that because you never were like quote unquote boots on the ground, so you're not sure if you have a valid stressor and you would be going more depression and anxiety secondary to tinnitus, then wait. Because your claim will be so much stronger if you get the headaches connected to tinnitus on a secondary basis first. Now your service connected at 60%. You got headaches and tinnitus. You file that mental health claim. Your odds of winning that go up for the depression and anxiety at that point. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Well, I will send you. So I'm going to send you 3 emails then. The first one was the link to the website, so you can get started whenever. The second one was a bunch of resources. So you may or may not need some help. I have a resource email that I send to all my veterans. It has about 5 links in there. Some of it's how to file your own claim. Some of it's how to find a VSO. Some of it's how to get a sleep study done. So there's just all kinds of resources in there. Use them if you need them. If you don't, just ignore the email. So that's the second email I sent you. And then the third email I will send you is the headache intake form that I talked about earlier. And then if you ever have any questions, Luke, I'm your guy. I'm your point man for questions. So just text me or email me. Correct. Yeah, I'm your single point of contact. Now you'll come in contact with other folks once you get on the medical side, but they're mostly, admin to make sure you don't fall through the cracks kind of thing. If you have questions, man, you come back to me. Phone calls don't work. Text and email works. Okay, great. Correct. Yes, sir. This is my number. Oh, okay. Yep. So, okay, great. Yeah, I do. So, like I said, I'm service connected for that as well, and I play with these VA math numbers every day, all day. So I'm pretty good at their math. So I can explain how they do the equation, and I can also explain how headaches rates. So headaches, the threshold to get a 50% award, according to the CFR, is frequent disabling attacks. So what the VBA is looking for there is frequent disabling attacks. It's subjective. There's no number there. Now I average about 3 headaches a month, and one of those might be disabling, just disabilitating, where I've got to go lay down. I got to take some Excedrin. I got to go in a dark room. I got to get an ice pack, something, right? So that's frequent disabling for me. And I won headaches at 50%. So I usually tell my vets, if you have 3 or more headaches a month, you probably qualify for the 50% rating. Now it rates out at 0, 10, 30, and 50. So what they're telling you there is you have 0, you have headaches, but it doesn't impact your life. There's no social or economic impact. 10, if you get 10% for headaches, basically you get about 1 headache a year, and it may impact your life somewhat. And then at 30%, right? I know. This is why 50% is such. I know. It is. It's a pretty low bar to hit the 50%. I guess is what I'm trying to illustrate. So, I mean, the likelihood of you getting 50%, not guaranteed. There is no guarantees. Nobody's dunking on the VA, but it's a pretty low bar as far as being awarded 50% for headaches. So then that would move you to 60. So how the VA math works is this. When you entered the VA system, they gave you, they go by the whole body theory. So 100 points for your whole body. That's your whole mind and body, right? It's everything. Your whole entity gets 100 points. Then for each disability that you get service connected, they assign a percentage of those points to that disability. So if you were to win, it'll be 55%. So they'll round you to 60. Yeah. Anything between 55 and 64 is paid out at 60. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah, man. Yeah. So that's definitely worth it. Oh man, that's a rough beat too. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of akin to, take care of yourself so you can take care of your family. Like, the safety warning they give you when you go on an airline, where they tell you to put on your mask first before taking care of children and the elderly. That's what you're doing here. By getting this service connected, you're taking care of yourself first so that you can take care of your family. So I think that's awesome. Okay. All right, man. Well, we're over time. I will let you go. Any other questions before we end? Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for the time today.